Apartment manager doesn't take cash for 2 cents bill. Malicious compliance ensues. In 2019 I moved from an apartment complex in Celebration, Florida, to a condo. As usual, when you move out of an apartment, you get a final bill, which includes your last month's prorated rent, deductions for damages, security deposit refunds, and the like. We paid it. The next month I get a call from my wife who says we've got a follow-up bill in the mail from the apartment management company for 2 cents. We're both in the tech field, so we laughed that this company's IT department didn't catch the edge case of spending 50 cents in postage to collect 2 cents in revenue. But it happens. My wife prints out a copy of the bill. I grab 2 cents from the change jar. The apartment complex is on my daily drive, so I swing by the office. I walk in and tell the manager that I want to pay my last bill. I say, "It's 2 cents. Here's the bill. And I have the 2 cents if you want it." The manager says, "We don't take cash. Nothing else." There was an awkward pause. I say, "I don't expect you to take cash. I expect us both to have a laugh about how silly computer systems are. And for you to write off the 2 cents. Because it'd cost you more to process the payment." She says, "I'm not going to do that." Again. Awkward pause. I say, "So you want me to write you a check for 2 cents and mail it? And you're going to process that check?" Quote. The manager says, "Yes. Send us a check and we'll process it," and then walks back into her office to end the conversation. So I go home and set up an automatic monthly bank payment to my apartment complex for 3 cents. And then, because I'm a programmer, I write some code to send a letter once per month saying, "I'm so sorry I've overpaid my bill. Please send me a check for the overpayment." And I use an online service that sends postcards in ridiculous sizes up to around 18x24, figuring that'll be my escalation strategy. The first of the next month, I get a call from the apartment company's regional manager. After introducing himself, the next 2 minutes were the most sincere. "Oh God. We made a mistake, please don't do this. We'll never contact you again." Apology anyone could have hoped for. I stopped the mail and never heard from them again. Did I spend several hours on MC for 2 cents? Yes. Was it worth it? Absolutely. Decades ago my husband went into collections over 11 cents. He had no idea how it happened. He just received a letter out of the blue and called the phone number. Obviously, at some point, he called the entire action ludicrous and was told, "Sir, 11 cents is a lot of money." At sent me a 3 cents bill. I sent them a check for 7 cents and began hounding them for my refund. That's genius. I had a similar experience. Easy Pass sent me a letter saying they'd deducted 46 cents from my account. Postage was 48 cents. My former bank got caught up in a scandal where it turned out they had charged interest on fees. They did internal revision, and ended up finding out how much each customer was due. I then got a letter that cost about $1 to send. Postage is extremely expensive here. That I would get a 3 cent payout. It was automatically deposited in my account 2 days later. This is ridiculously petty and wasteful. I hope you're proud of yourself. I would be. I love it. That is awesome. Be proud. Not really MC, but I got a child support check for 32 cents once. Seriously? Framed it instead of cashing it. Got all sorts of escalating notices that I needed to cash it or it would be invalid after 60 days. Did I cash it to have that 32 cents to support my child? Shockingly, I did not. Did I spend several hours on MC for 2 cents? Yes. Was it worth it? Absolutely. would have been worth it at twice the cost in time. This was fantastic. I did not think that they could refuse legal currency to pay a debt. I know that a merchant can refuse cash for a sale, but a debt is different. I like your dedication to comply. I worked for a company that did a lot of small potatoes transactions like this. I was tasked with finding efficiencies when I was first hired. So, I followed the entire process of processing a single paper transaction, as opposed to automatically billed, which was far more efficient. From start to finish, with a stopwatch, talked to everyone involved. It turned out that it cost more than $50 to process a single transaction. I recommended that anything under that amount be written off. My findings were not appreciated. Sounds like me at Disney. Employee class action lawsuit happened and I was working there just long enough to get like $1.32, which I cashed same day. I am fiercely jealous of programmers for this reason alone. You are the example to which we aspire. A long time ago I bought something at Sears using my Discover card, which Sears owned at the time. I wasn't happy with my purchase and returned it the next day, but my bill had cycled with a $0 balance. So of course I ignored it. The next month I got another bill for $0 and had a nasty note about being late and paying right away. I assumed that there was some sort of rounding error, i.e. the interest was less than 1 cent. So the bill rounded down to 0 but was non-zero internally, causing the nasty language. I called them and they said nothing they can do because the bill is 0. Next month I get another bill for $0 and it had some thread about my account going into default and maybe closing the card unless I paid $0 immediately. So I wrote out a check for $0 and mailed it in with the stub. Maybe 10 days later I got an apology note and they returned my $0 check. This reminds me so much of a loophole that seemed to work back in the early 2010s and anytime earlier than that in Arizona. Our driver's license penalties are on a points system. Reckless driving is a certain number of points. Speeding, unsafe lane change, etc. So anyway, I'm close to getting a suspended license based on points. Something I can't afford. I get a ticket from a lying cop who lied about seeing my seatbelt unbuckle. A minor ticket that has major consequences for me. He says you can show up in court or pay the ticket. I pay the ticket of $285.43. But write the check for $286.12. You know, for that pesky 69-cent, I hope it's not late, fee. I then get a refund check for 69 cents from ADOT. Glorious. But the fun has only begun. I haven't cashed that check in over a decade. And those points never showed up on my license. I had heard that if you overpaid by a little bit you'd get a refund check and your points wouldn't be processed until that check was cashed to finalize it. Totally worked. For my car insurance, every 6 months I paid the full amount. They would send me a check for $5 because apparently the default payment method is a 6-month payment plan. Last year they decided to not include the $5 and I just paid it in full as normal. Hear nothing back and then get a bill for $15 months later for 3 months of fees for the monthly billing option, even though I paid in full up front. Keep in mind that this is a 23-year-old car that I put like 2,000 miles a year, so we are talking a 10% fee for this. I called them and they said it was a fee, but I said it was paid in full. They did not care and I changed it to one-time payment so I would not have to deal with it. So this time, I paid 1 penny over and sure enough, I get a 50-cent letter with a check for 1 cent. And I will continue until the cost reaches $15, so for the next 10 years. I am debating whether to let the checks expire and request new ones every 6 months. This is why I joined Malicious Compliance. As a fellow programmer, this made my morning, you nerd. XD. What's the service that will send oversized postcards for you? My sister and brother-in-law moved to another state. For 5 years my brother-in-law got a monthly bill from the tollway here for 5 cents. Once when we were visiting them in their new state, my brother-in-law gave me his latest bill and asked me to go by their office when I got home and pay it in person. When I went to pay, all I had was a dime and they couldn't give me change. After that, my brother-in-law got a monthly statement with a 5-cent credit. After a year of that, they sent him a check for 5 cents.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Eracast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.